In 2002, Phil and I set sail on Maranatha for the Louisiades, an archipelago off the east tip of PNG. After 5 days of ocean crossing, we're always glad to reach the clear waters of the lagoon and to drop anchor for a very good rest. Transport is always difficult. For the local sailing canoes, it is wet and sometimes dangerous. We usually take a small ministry team on board of 4 or 5 locals, but for special occasions, many more. This time we took 35 to a Bible translators meeting. The first year we took nothing. Then we saw the need and God provided the finance. We took medical supplies, library books for schools, musical instruments, more than 50 guitars and about 30 tambourines, Christian books and study materials for church leaders and for the Rossell Bible College, literally thousands of Bibles and a multitude of practical items. Our boat is packed to the hilt with nowhere to put our feet. What a relief to unload it into the dinghy and fill up Pastor Siggy's house instead. Phil saw the need for communications and has installed a system of 7 radios with antennas up poles and up coconut trees, attached to houses, all wired up with some help from the locals, and powered with solar panels and deep cycle batteries, so that instead of the 4 to 5 months needed to get a message from Rossell to Missima, it happens immediately. And with the excess power, he adds lights to churches and pastors' houses. Our ministry widened to include a series of conferences. In our second year here, I was asked to do a 5-day Sunday school teachers' conference. There are about 100 in attendance. It went really well, and their ripple effect as they returned to their villages was huge. Since then, I've done ongoing Sunday school teaching each year, as with this group, learning to use flannel graph material in their local villages. In 2008, Lawrence organised a major youth conference. I was a guest speaker, but the youth organised the program, 6 dramas, the worship sessions. They built shelters and toilets and raised money for the costs. Their reward was the 15 baptisms at the end. A highlight of 2009 was the music conference on Rossell, with 160 young people and 28 guitars. For 4 days they played guitar, sang songs, learnt tambourine patterns, and rose to a new level in worship leading. It was life-changing. 2011 was Phil's first as a conference speaker.
It's Satan down there and Jesus up there. I once heard it said it's like a man sitting here speaking with a microphone, and an ant crawls up the microphone and says to him, "You want to fight?"
He did well. It was the first men's conference in the area. They declared they had learnt a lot and had much to go home and think over. Meanwhile, I've begun teaching illiterates to read. In 2009, I taught Leela to read the Bible in Missima. Then this year, I taught Ezekiel to read English so that he can go to Bible college. Phil began a film ministry this year with light portable equipment that will go anywhere. One of the speakers from the CRC International Conference challenged the locals to more sacrificial service.
You must believe that God has chosen and has called you to do what? To bear fruit for Him. Hallelujah. You must give your life to Him. You must serve Him from your youth upwards.
When we came 10 years ago, there were only 3 pastors who'd been to Bethel, the CRC Bible College at Port Moresby. It's an excellent facility, training not only in theology, but also in godly character and servanthood. Here you see them cleaning the drains as part of their program. Since then, we've paid Bible college fees for 20 church leaders, including Kingsford, a leading pastor in the area, and Peddy, who looks after the new outreaches in Rossell and Sud-Est, Lawrence, who's raising money for full-time missionary work in Irian Jaya, Likewise Mark, who's also going to India, Jeremiah, now lecturing full-time at Bethel, Josephine, lecturing at Madang Bible College, Kamish is acting principal at Halato Bible College, and John is graduating this year. Can't wait to return to his family and start planting churches. Every one of our graduates have excelled. 10 years ago there were 12 churches. Now there are 26. The first year we came, I planted this coconut tree. Look at it now. It's grown so big, and it's bearing fruit, with more to come. We've seen the same growth in the churches. Here we're celebrating the opening of a new fellowship at Kuo in Rossell. We've been involved in the planting and the discipling, and seen the hunger for God in these people, and their deep devotion, and their commitment to God and to His work. As we served alongside these gracious, godly people, we formed deep friendships. People ask us how long we intend to keep going. Well, while the fishing is so good, and we keep catching the big one, we'll keep sailing into tomorrow.
Caught any fish?
You got any fish?